guys another brand new video, right? It's a new trading week coming up, right? So I want to give a very clear insight to how I caught over I think 100 pips on GPSD this week. You can see my entry, right? I think it did, yeah, 100 pips on GBPUSD, right? From my analysis I did, right? The thought process behind everything that I use in catching this trade, right? This GPS really gave massive profit for us, and I shared the trade to my Telegram members, right? So without wasting much time, let's look at the thought process behind how I caught this trade that generated over 100 pips in profit. Right, first of all, I use just simple top-down analysis, right? What is the structure? What is the market saying, right, for top-down analysis, right? So now I knew about top-down analysis, right? I knew that the structure was good because first of all, we had this inverse head and shoulder pattern right here, right? For GPUSD, we have this inverse head and shoulder pattern. So as you can see right here, the market is going to um, still print out that same structure because one thing you need to know is that the market reversal patterns, key levels from the higher time frame are very important, right? The same way we have structures, they're also very important. So don't joke with reversals, don't joke with key levels from the higher time frame. So now we have this inverse head and shoulder pattern playing out, right? And one thing I use is how the weekly candle closed, right? So looking at the weekly candle, right? This is the recent, let me zoom in. This is the recent weekly closure, right? So this was the way the weekly candle closed before, right? And market was approaching a high right here. So we had this one bullish candle, another one again. This other one gave a doji, and this other one came out bullish, but the bullish left a wick, right? So that's why I was not surprised GPSU was selling first at the start of the week before I started buying. So with that in mind, I knew that okay, we're supposed to see a buy from GPSZ. It's just for you to mark out your point of interest, right? Know your directional bias. Okay, I'm going to buy GPSU or I'm going to buy gold this week, right? And stick to that bias, right? Understand structure and mark out those positions, those key levels from the higher time frame that is in line with your bias you've gotten. So if you're not doing top down analysis, right, you can get a snippet from what I'm just saying. So I saw the way this weekly candle close, right, and when the weekly candle close, right, it gave me an insight for us to continue pushing bullish, but it left a week, which means that the bears were the ones that were the last to close the market. They were the last participants of the market, which means that come on Monday, right, we should see a retracement before we start breaking this zone. I knew that we're going to break this zone and get to this high, right? So fast forward to okay, let's look at the daily time frame. Right, you can see what happened on the daily time frame. We're having these cells, we're having these cells, right? We're having this key level, right? We're having these cells right here that made market to drop, right? So as expected, the daily structure was bullish, right? The daily structure was bullish, as you can see. We have this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high right here. So this will be a higher low to buy. So what did I do to catch this buy? First of all, there have to be a retracement, like I said before, at this key level. I marked this key level, but I know that the direction of the market is very, very bullish. You understand? So which means we have to buy GPUSD for the week, right? So on the daily time frame, right, the structure was going to print out bullish for us, right? It's a very simple concept that most people ignore, right? So now that the daily is going to print out bullish for us and it's going to give us a retracement, as you can see. I think on Monday we had this doji candlestick. On Tuesday we had this bearish candlestick, as exactly I wanted to see, right? So what did I do? I did my analysis on the 4 hours time frame, right? And when I did my analysis on the 4 hours time frame, what happened, right? If you look at the 4 hour analysis, there was this demand zone right here, right? There was this demand zone, right? And market came to this demand level. And another thing again I also used was fib level. Fib level. Don't underestimate Fibonacci retracement. So this was the recent high, right? And this was the recent low right here. So if you look at it carefully, market came and tapped into the 50% Fibonacci level. So I have market coming to very juicy place or a very juicy POI, right? Because we had this demand level right here and we had the fib level of 50%. So it is a very, very key zone for markets to buy. So I was patient enough. I waited on Monday, nothing for the retracement to happen. On Tuesday, wait for the retracement to happen. Then on Wednesday was where I was now interested. I think Wednesday, early hours of Wednesday, I was able to find entry after all this retracement here and there, market push up, come down. And now, once I had an entry from this H4 that confirms the buy, then I hopped in on this trade and it delivered. You can see right here, you can see how it delivered over, I think, 100 pips, right, on this trade, right? So you can emulate this and use it for yourself. It's a very good, simple top-down analysis that you can use. Know your directional bias from the weekly perspective, from the daily to the 4 hour, 4 hour. Then you can use 1 hour also to get entry. As you can see, that's what I did, right, a 1 hour for an entry, right, and I held the trade throughout the London session, throughout the New York session, and you can see, right, on the 1 hour time frame, market just kept on buying and buying and buying till it hit full take profits, 1:4.59. So if you were risking $10, you would have made $40 off from this trade. So this is just a quick breakdown of how I caught 100 pips from Gbpusd this week, right? A very, very simple and effective concept that was applied here, right? So if you like more videos like this, you can do it to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video to any trader out there that may need such content like this. So see you on the next one.